Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the final weeks of our fall webinar series. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue exploring top international universities. So far, we have had the pleasure of featuring 7 incredible institutions throughout September and October. As we approach the final weeks of our fall webinars, we are excited to introduce you to the last 2 universities. During these sessions, you will hear directly from each institution about their unique programs, admissions processes, and what makes them stand out. This morning, we have École Polytechnique from France with us. Known as one of the world's best small universities, École Polytechnique specializes on degrees in science and engineering. Among the degree programs offered is the rigorous 3-year Bachelor of Science, which is an intensive double major program with math at its core and 3 specializations: physics, economics, and computer science. Today's webinar is organized by Global College Advisors, and you will hear more about GCA in just a moment. Before we start with the presentation, I want to mention a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A function instead of the chat. We will have a Q&A session after the presentation. Finally, this webinar is being recorded, and we plan on posting the video on our YouTube channel later on. So please check the Global College Advisors YouTube channel if you would like to rewatch some of the information that will get shared today. And with that, let's move into some introductions. For those of you who don't know me yet, I am Cornelia Betschart-Fortes, the founder of Global College Advisors, also GCA in short. We connect students with universities all over the world, including the United States. Global College Advisors provides personalized college consulting and helps students explore both US and international options to find the best academic and financial fit. From college research to application strategy, we are here to support students every step of the way. So today we will learn more about École Polytechnique in France, which is one of France's prestigious Grande Écoles. Our speakers this morning are Wassila Chervil and Christine Lebervasseur. Wassila is the Director of International Marketing and Development at École Polytechnique and has over a decade of global experience in marketing and business development across diverse industries. Aside from having been the lead in strategic initiatives and partnerships in the nonprofit and corporate sectors, she's an expert in marketing strategy, project management, and international relations. Wassila is joined by Christine today, who is the International Development Manager at École Polytechnique. She organizes strategic partnerships with top universities in Europe and the Mediterranean region and supports international mobility programs as well as the university's joint research and dual degrees opportunities. Her goal is to enhance cross-border educational exchange and collaborations. Welcome, Wassila and Christine. I will stop sharing my screen. Please go ahead and take it away from here.
So thank you. Thank you and hi everyone. I would love to know if you are all based in California. Let us know. So screen 2, that's what I'm gonna share. Here you go. Everything is okay?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yes.
So I'd like to start with a quick statistic to make a student understand why it's important to study abroad or even have a work experience abroad sometimes. So 50% of students who go perform better academically after studying abroad because they learn different way of thinking. They are with different people from a different horizon. So they improve much better and challenge themselves as well. And as you can see, also 97% of students who study abroad will find unemployment much easier. So they will find it within 12 months after graduation. And for École Polytechnique, it will be even shorter because there are no difficulty on finding a job when you graduated from École Polytechnique. So like Cornelia said, we are #1 institution in France. We are the most elite institution. If we compare it to the US, it's part of the Ivy League, let's say. We are #1. We've been created a long time ago, 1794, about 230 years ago, if I'm not wrong, 240 years ago. Under Napoleon Bonaparte. So the purpose of the school was to find the best engineers and to go across the country, get the best, not just engineer, but scientists to rebuild the country with this new vision after the revolution. So this was very important to Napoleon Bonaparte. And since the creation, we are a top still engineering school and science, all the steps related. We used to be in Paris when we used to be a small school, but over the years we've grown and we've been relocated just outside of Paris in the suburb. So not too far, it's a direct train ride. When I say train, subway, let's say. We call it ARIA in France, but it's more a quick subway train ride, 30 minutes to Paris. We provide undergraduate, and I'm going to present the bachelor program that we have here at École Polytechnique. But before that, I want to share with you some ranking because for some people it's important. So like I said, #1 in France, but not just in terms of STEM, but also most international universities. So we welcome a lot of international students into our institution. We are also 34 in the world, according to TSE. You can see us under this logo in some ranking. This logo, Institut Polytechnique de Paris, it's in 2019, Emmanuel Macron wanted to create a better visibility abroad for French universities. So he put under one label the 6 top universities in engineering, science, and math related. So we have some for telecommunications, some for transportation, some for statistics, and we are École Polytechnique, one of them. So the name is very similar because we're carrying the most elite name. And as you can see, second in France and 38 in the world, according to QS ranking. Why second in France? Because this ranking take all the universities across all the boards. So second, because HEC, which is a business school, come first. That's the only reason. But then you can see for employer reputation, like I say, it's quite easy to find a job and not just in France. We are we get first for employer reputation and 10th worldwide. So it's quite easy, even if you want to work in another country, the US, for instance, or UK or Asia, there is a network and people know about the quality of our student worldwide. For those who don't know, those are some of our founders, let's say, first student or early student or teacher at École Polytechnique. So for those who are very familiar with the STEM, they may know some theory and theorem about Cauchy, Laplace, and some other great scientific discoveries. So like I said, from the beginning, we went for excellence and we want to keep it that way. So we are very thorough into selecting our student, but it's not because we go for excellence that we should not be accessible. So we make sure that our program are accessible for everyone and affordable for everyone. There are also different financial aids that people can apply to. And we are a small university, very human scale. And as I'm talking to the West Coast, you may be very similar with Caltech. So this is very close in comparison. Small university, very specialized. This is us. I wanted to show you a little bit of our global network. So for sure, I didn't put everything, otherwise the map will be a lot of dots. So I just put the partnership that we have, but not only. I also added where our student will end up after a bachelor or a master degree at École Polytechnique if they pursue their study abroad. So yes, this is it. You can, after a bachelor, you have a brilliant student who end up at MIT, Berkeley. Actually, we have 4 students at MIT this year and other top university across the world. Our pillar, like I said, small campus. We are only 3,700 students. All our teachers are researchers, so they all do research. If you're interested in research, that's the good place to be because we have 23 laboratories. And as we are part of Institut Polytechnique de Paris and all the other schools of engineering, we go up to 43 laboratories, I think. I think it's 43 or 42. I forgot the number of it because we just added a new school recently. And we also have innovation center and an incubator because we have a lot of students who are quite entrepreneurs. So there is a place for everyone. So like I said, no limitation after École Polytechnique. We have Nobel Prizes. We have people who start their career into politics. We have in France, but not only, because we have a lot of international students. So they go back home and they become a prime minister and others. We also have anything, of course, in the field of science. And we also have in the field of business. So for those who are not familiar, sorry, with the CAC 40, which is the equivalent of the S&P 500 for the American market. So 1/3 of the leaders in the CAC 40 are from École Polytechnique, just to give you an overview of the size of the business side. So this is a quick snapshot of our programs. The original program that we had is this one that we start with under Napoleon Bonaparte. The students still wear today the same uniform, so it's a lot of history that have been carried on over the years. But this is accessible only after a French preparatory class that take 2 years or a bachelor program. But today I'm going to focus on our 2 bachelors, the Bachelor of Science and the, not 2 bachelor, but 2 program, Bachelor of Science and the BSMS with Columbia University. So our bachelor, it's a fast track compared to the US where the bachelor takes 4 years. Here it's going to take only 3 years. So it's quite more intense, but you save time at the end. The BSMS with Columbia University, you can get a master degree level in 4.5 years instead of 7 years in the US. We have a small classes on an average of 15 to 20 students to make sure that you get the best outcome from the teacher and you have a lot of interaction if needed. And also a personal development team that I'm going to talk about more a bit later. So just to give you a quick overview, this is last year cohort. I don't have the number for this year, but they are very similar, but just the nationality increased. So we take maximum 160 students anyway. So if we don't reach 160, that's okay with us. We just really want to take the profile that are a good fit. There are about a good parity of about 40% of female within the cohort. 57% of our students are international, so coming from all over the places. And 1/3 of the students are minor, which means because we go for elite program with a high profile, some students skip classes during their education. So they end up having their high school diploma at 15, 16, 17, and we have some of those. I remember the number for this year, we have 1/3, I think, 1/4 are minor. And like I said, nationality, we went up to 51 this year, so we increased the number of nationality. And like I said, 80% of the students come from outside of France. So this is a bachelor where it's very research-oriented, but not only. It's more for people who want to pursue their study. So people don't really go work after a Bachelor of Science from École Polytechnique, and 90%, most of them will continue studying into a master or PhD track. But we still have few people who decide to go work, get some work experience. So the program, a quick overview. It's a 3-year, like I said. First year, it's the year where you're going to discover and look at all the discipline. It's a multidisciplinary approach. You will be able to choose and see what you like to do. And at the end of this first year, you will choose your double major. So for sure, you're going to major in mathematics, but then you will have to choose either between computer science, physics, or economics, which will give you much more opportunity for later on your studies. And then also you have the possibility to follow a major. So if you want to pursue a major in biology, for instance, you loved it during your first year, you want to keep biology or chemistry, you can do it within your double major, which will open even more door for your professional career later. You will have a lot of lab research, also a research internship, a bachelor thesis that you can do within École Polytechnique or also abroad, and you have an exchange semester. So we have about 50% of the students who decide to go into an exchange program. And I know some students going also doing their bachelor thesis abroad. Because it's École Polytechnique and we want well-rounded students, it's not just all about science. You will still have languages, humanities, social science, and personal development class to take, and 2 hours of sport. So we want to make sure that you don't burn out and you still have something that you are passionate about and do on the side. So that's very important for us to have a healthy mind in a healthy body, because sport is really part of the core. Those are not optional, just if I was not clear, those are mandatory part of all our programs at École Polytechnique. So we also have another program that we started this year, which is the BSMS, dual degree global engineering with Columbia University. So you spend your 3 years at École Polytechnique doing your Bachelor of Science with some specificity if in the first year, if you choose this track with more global engineering classes, and same for the second and third year with the classes provided from Columbia University during your bachelor. And then at the end of the 3-year bachelor program, you go straight to Columbia. So you don't need to apply to Columbia University. If you reach the right GPA, you go to Columbia. That's the agreement that we have. And depending on the double major, you will be able to choose any of the 9 programs at Columbia School of Engineering. So let's say there are quite a variety. You can go from mechanical engineering to financial engineering or applied math or physics, depending on what you are passionate about. And we are also still talking with the Columbia to see if we can add bioengineering, because this is something that a lot of our students from the bachelor program pursue. So it's something that it's an option. Application process, very straightforward, the same like you have in the US. High school diploma, of course, but don't wait to get your high school diploma to apply, because you can apply since September. And then top student, as you could guess, strong in mathematics and science, and strong overall. Strong English level, but for you it's not an issue as you are in an English-speaking country. Application just opened recently on the 3rd of October. So very easy and very common. 2 reference letter. You're going for a math science program, so please, if you can, ask reference letter from your math teachers or science instructors. It's nice to have from history teacher, but when you go into commission, it's very hard to decide when you have someone from the history. If you have no choice, it's not a problem, because we receive a lot of those, because in some institution, you can't choose who you pick for your reference letter. Transcript, the past 3 years. So if you apply in September, you go back 3 years, so from grade 9, and depending when you apply within the years. Resume, which is not really a resume, this is a self-assessment that you have to fill up within our platform. We want to know what did you study so far in terms of mathematics and science. So for us, it's important to evaluate this, and you will understand a bit on the next step. Then personal statement is 3 questions. They are published now, so you can have a look at them on the website. And last, if as you are English-speaking student coming from an English-speaking country, and I guess with an English-speaking passport, you will not need to provide an English certificate. Your passport will be enough. And if you study for the past 2 years, you also in English, you also exempt. So for you, don't take care of this. That's just for other countries. Application fee, 95 euros. So why the self-assessment? Because after that, if you are successful, we call you for an interview. So the interview, what is it? 30-minute math problem to solve. We want to see how you resonate, how you think, how you can think outside of the box as well. So it will be math problem to do on a Skype call, and with the teacher directly. You can have paper and things like that. I can send you some example if you want. You can send me an email directly. I can send you some example. And there are also some example on our website. And then 15-minute, 20-minute motivation and scientific culture. What do want to do later on, depending what you discuss into your personal statement. If you're passionate about mechanical engineering, like maybe talking about cars or how does it function and things like that. And why École Polytechnique, why you want to join us, why the program, what motivates you. So very classic. I don't know in which type of program you are, but we may have those questions. If you are into IB program curriculum, it will be analysis and approaches HL that you need. So you need at least mathematics HL, which will be best, and 2 other scientific classes, or at least 1 other scientific subject. AP will be calculus BC or calculus 1, yes. And the classes that are with honor, of course. This is the admission calendar. Sorry. So like I said, we opened in October 3rd, so we just opened. And the first round of application will be up to November 5th. So about a month to apply on the first round. We review all the application from the first to the last round, 1, 2, 3. At the end of the round, we collect all the application. I explained to you quickly how it works. We collect all the application. 2 different assessors will assess the file of each student, depending on the, so they come back with their remarks. If it's a pass for both of them, you go straight to the interview. If it's a pass and I don't know or no, then you go to a commission. That's why I said, so people will, teacher mostly will meet together, an academic, and decide on the case. And that's why it's easier to decide when there is cover letter from scientific teacher. So at the end of the commission, if it's a pass, you go directly to the interview. So the interview will also as well decide if you go to if you're admitted or not. To make it brief. If you apply for the Bachelor of Science, you can't apply for the BSMS program. You have to choose. It's either this one or this one. This one leads you directly to Columbia University. This one open the door to all universities that you want. So depending on what you want to do. And this one is more focused on global engineering, environmental studies, resource management, like solving tomorrow issues. Accommodation. Why we take only 160 students? Because we guarantee accommodation for the 3 years to all our students. So you will have your room within the campus. You will have your own privacy, and you just share the kitchen and the common areas. You also have working space within the building. It's a whole building just for bachelor students. Learning environment. We offer free tutoring. We have a dedicated academic officer per year to help you and guide you, and to check if you have any difficulty, who can put you into groups of study if you need any help or anything like that. So we put everything in place to make sure that you can succeed within the program. We have a success rate of almost 100%, so we really put all the effort to make sure that you will get your bachelor at the end. A student life team, so that's what I told you about at the beginning. We know that the transition from high school to higher education can be difficult, and even more so if you change country, if you're alone without a family. So we have this student life team that take care of all the classes, personal management, sport, and things like that. But they're also here on campus. They have their offices on the ground floor of the bachelor building, and they are on site 5 days a week from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night. And they are 24 hours 7 on a call. So you can always talk to someone if you are homesick or anything. That's normal for anyone leaving his country. There are no age for being homesick, and we understand that, and they are a team to support you. We also have a team dedicated to help you with all admin stuff for France. We know it can be complicated, so they are very specialized, and they are very good at helping the student with all the administrative stuff, and they even do much more. Campus life is quite rich. We have a long history, so a lot of club, a lot of binet, like we call them as well. So more than 200 student club. There are clubs for everything: science, physics, music, dance, theater, whatever you think of. There, I'm sure there is a club. We also are very strong within the sport. We have a lot of sport facilities. I just show you a quick example. So those are all the sports that are available within the campus. Not all of them. I think the parachuting is not available for our bachelor student, but for our other program. But you can try all the other sport. The 2 hours of sport that are included within your program will be more classic and sport that you will do. But we have a lot of students as well who study sometimes at more higher level activities like swimming or rugby or things like that, or basketball, football, who can join other group to get into a more strong path. So we have 2 swimming pool of 25 meter. You can do rowing, basketball, fencing, horse riding, anything you think of. So there is a lot within the campus. Fees, those may change slightly. I think this year we are at 15,500 or 600 for European student, but the international student price didn't change, so it's 18,800. So this is depending on your passport. If your passport is European, those are the fees. If your passport are international, those are the fees. So it doesn't depend on where you are based or study. Scholarship, I should remove this because it's accurate, but there are much more into it, and you can go into our website. There are more information that will be put on soon onto our website, because we have scholarship now for people who won gold medal for international OMA or international competition like Olympiad, sorry. We have it's merit based. We have need based as well. We have free loan, so you don't pay any interest on your loan, and the French government helps you monthly with the CAF. That's a French system. They give you 100 or 120 depending on the family revenue to deduce from your rent. So there are a lot of help to support you during the program. So like I said, the other we have one bachelor that it's linked to Columbia University, but the other one is open. And our student, this is where the last cohort end up. I just put few names, I didn't put everything. So like you see, all the big names, Yale, MIT, Stanford, Caltech, everything. Harvard, so in the US, in France, in Europe, many students as well decide to stay at École Polytechnique to study within our schools. So it opened a lot of doors, but not just the name. I didn't list it, the number of different masters that you can pursue. There are plenty. We have about 160 students, and maybe they all apply to, and maybe 100 different master programs that they can apply to. Because of the double major and the minor that you can take, it opened a lot of doors doing mechanical engineering, finance, bioengineering, things like that. So there are a lot of opportunities to do after the bachelor program. And this is a quick overview of the campus. So that's the top right, the white buildings. That's where you have all the bachelor students staying. You have the lake, the houses are somewhere here at the bottom. And yes, that's about it. I hope I was clear, and I can't wait to hear some of your questions.
Thank you so much for this fantastic presentation, Vasila. That was really fantastic.
Thank you. I stopped sharing.
Yes, thank you. So before we move into the Q&A, let me just put up our last slide here. Okay, perfect. So let's see. Actually, I don't see any questions in the Q&A. So let me ask you a couple of my questions that I have for you. So you mentioned that you accept 160 students per year for the undergraduate degree.
Correct.
You were explaining today. How many students apply each year, just so we can kind of understand, what the chances are, since you guys are a really selective school?
There are chances. It's not about the number of how many students apply each year. We are not the big American Ivy League that everybody knows about. That's the difference. So there are high chances to get in. I think the selection rate will be very close to the American ones. And roughly, let's say last year it was maybe 1,400 students. But every year it's increased because every year more and more students know about us. And that's how we increase the number. But I don't want people to get limited and because of the numbers of the selection rate. It's more about if you feel like it, maybe just give it a go. It's not impossible. And
Yeah,
if
you
it's
know,
not us, give it a go even to MIT, if it's your dream, or Stanford or Caltech or Harvard, like try. And then let's see.
correct. Thank you. That's a nice answer. Thank you. So kind of like a follow-up question on that. How many students come from the US each year?
I don't have the number, so I won't lie
Mhm.
to you. I can dig and look for it later on. I can tell you that. But I know that this year we have a lot of American. I don't know if they all come from the US, but we have a lot of American national.
Okay, okay.
Much more. I
That's
think
good
it's
to
the
know.
third nationality, actually.
Oh, really? Okay,
For this
okay.
cohort, which was not the case for the past ones. So
Right,
every year it changes.
right. Okay, thank you. And then in terms of, so you mentioned that as part of your curriculum, students have to take language and other subjects as well. Um, is there a requirement to take also French since they are living in France?
So if they don't speak French, if they don't have a B2 level, it will be mandatory for them to take French. That will be the mandatory language. If they already speak French and have a B2 level, they can take any of the other more than 10 languages that we offer at École Polytechnique.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. And then you mentioned the tuition cost before. Is there, I'm assuming that the housing cost is not included in the tuition.
Correct.
How much is the housing?
Housing, the rent, it's about, let's say, around 500. I don't have the exact number.
Right. Just
Insurance, internet, everything included. So you don't have to worry. It's just a package of 500. You get the deduction from the French government, about 100, 120. So let's say 400, 380 per month. And then cost of living, food and things like that. Transportation is quite cheap for student in France, so I think it's about 25 or 30 bucks a month. Uh,
Okay.
and let's say you can add 10 grand for the whole year.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Thank you. And then another question regarding the master. If students decide that they want to continue with a master's at your school, um, do you also have a pathway like they can go directly into the master's without reapplying if they have a certain GPA, similar to what you mentioned with Columbia University, or how
They
does it
will
work?
have to apply, but application will, it's quite easy for our master. It's not like a long process, and they know the student because they've been studying at École Polytechnique, so we will know their level. And yes, we have 10 different master, and I think 12 for next year. So there are different opportunities to study in a master program. And some people we have every year who decide to join the engineering program, which is also give you a master level at the end, but it's a 3 year plus 1 year program. And that's the elite one that we have here in France. So there are opportunities. Last year, I think we have 4 who got accepted and who decided, I guess, to go. But there are plenty of opportunities. We have master in usually data, uh, artificial computer science, engineering. We have plenty because they are the bachelor from the master from École Polytechnique, but also the one from Institut Polytechnique, which is a wide variety.
Great. Well, that's good to know. Um, I think that's about my questions. Let me see. actually, there are no further other questions here. So I would say I will go ahead and close out our webinar this morning. This has been very informative. Thank you so much, Priscilla and Christine. That was
Thank you
really
very much, Cornelia, for
helpful.
having
Thank
us
you.
and inviting us to this presentation.
So for everyone who joined us a little bit later, please know that the webinar has been recorded and we will post it on our Global College Advisors YouTube channel later on this month. Vasila and Christine, thank you again for this wonderful, informative presentation today. I really appreciate you having made the time for us this morning. So thank you very much. Last but not least, please note that we have only one more webinar coming up. We will have Radboud University from the Netherlands as our guest on Saturday, October 12th at 10 a.m. Radboud University offers many English taught degree programs, including some amazing science degree programs. So you don't want to miss that presentation. Please make sure you register, and you can do so on our website. And with this, I wish everyone a wonderful Saturday, and Vasila and Christine, have a wonderful rest of your evening in France. Take care and goodbye, and see you on October 12th.